Welcome to using case management feedback tools to support stronger relationships and improve outcomes, a part of the Working with Case Managers video series created by the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council. In this video, we will explore how case managers and support coordinators can use case management feedback tools to build stronger relationships with participants and caregivers to improve outcomes. In this video, we will cover some common challenges case managers face, discuss the core competencies that define quality case management, and show how using case management feedback tools from participants and caregivers can support your professional growth and improve the services you provide. Throughout this video, we'll refer to the surveys, conversation worksheets, and related resources as the case management feedback tools. These tools were developed by the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council to help case managers, participants, and caregivers share feedback and strengthen their working relationships. Case managers may have different titles like care coordinator, care manager, support coordinator, or patient navigator. When we say case manager, we are referring to the person who coordinates care for participants. Let's start by talking about what some of the common challenges are in case management service delivery. The first challenge is the expectation gap. Participants and case managers often have different understandings of what each person's role is. The expectation gap can lead to confusion or frustration at times. Another challenge is how success gets measured. The ways your performance is measured can feel unfair because realities outside your control, like system delays or provider issues, can affect participant satisfaction even if you're doing your best. One final challenge in case management service delivery is feedback barriers. Participants may want to share feedback, but they may not know how, or they may feel unsure if providing feedback is safe or welcome. These barriers can prevent you from getting the information you need to do the best job possible. What is a solution to these challenges? Creating shared expectations, building positive relationships, communicating clearly, being professional, coordinating with the team, and following through all help create a shared understanding between participant, caregiver, and case manager while making space for better outcomes. The Case Manager feedback tools were developed by the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council to support this shared understanding. These tools can be found in a document called the Working with Case Managers Guide. The guide includes key competencies, surveys, worksheets, and short videos to help participants, caregivers, and case managers get on the same page. In this video, we'll go through the core competencies, show you how the case management feedback tools can be used to help you improve your performance, and share resources that can help you and your participants get on the same page about case management. What are core competencies? Core competencies establish consistent expectations, define what quality case management looks like, and keep the focus where it belongs, which is on strong relationships, clear communication, and follow-through. These are the key components of a case manager's job and the things they ought to do well. There are 5 core competencies for case managers. They are positive relationship building, effective communication, professionalism, support and service facilitation, and support team coordination. If you do these things well as a case manager, then you likely will be successful at your job. Over the next few slides, we'll define what each of these core competencies looks like in practice, starting with positive relationship building. Positive relationship building starts with respect and recognizing a person's background and experiences. It means building rapport, supporting their choices, and listening to their feedback. And once someone gives feedback, even something small, show them it mattered by incorporating their feedback if possible. That helps build trust. These qualities are the foundation for building strong, positive relationships with your participants that will allow you to do the other aspects of your job. Let's look at a real-world example. Matthew has had difficult experiences with case managers in the past, leaving him hesitant to trust new support systems and/or people. Aware of this history, Cecilia, his new case manager, approaches their relationship with empathy and patience. She checks in regularly, follows through on commitments, and consistently celebrates Matthew's progress, whether it's a small step forward or a major milestone. Cecilia's reliability and encouragement gradually help rebuild Matthew's sense of trust. Over time, this trust becomes the foundation for a stronger partnership, empowering Matthew to stay engaged and more confident in accessing the support he needs. In summary, Cecilia built trust with Matthew through consistent follow-through and encouragement. This is the basis of Cecilia's working relationship with Matthew, and it makes it easier for Cecilia to complete the rest of the work she needs to do with Matthew. The next core competency is effective communication. Effective communication means communicating clearly, listening attentively, and checking for understanding. Having effective communication skills is important for case managers so that participants and caregivers feel heard and supported, and so they understand the important information you share with them. As their case manager, you help them learn about the services and supports available to them and how to access the things they need. You can only do this if you communicate well with the people you work with. Let's go back to our example with Matthew. Matthew is exploring potential housing placements with his case manager, Cecilia. Having only ever lived with his family, he finds it difficult to express his concerns and uncertainties about this transition. Sensing his hesitation, Cecilia takes a thoughtful approach, asking open-ended questions about Matthew's housing preferences and actively listening to his responses. She carefully reflects back what she hears to ensure she's accurately understanding his needs. Through these conversations, Cecilia uncovers that Matthew's reluctance stems from anxiety about living away from his family for the first time. In response, she identifies housing options located close to his family, helping Matthew feel more comfortable and supported in considering this next step. In Matthew's case, Cecilia listened carefully when he struggled with a housing decision. Her effective communication skills meant she was able to work through a challenging situation and helped him find a solution that felt right for him. Now let's turn our attention to the third core competency, professionalism. Professionalism is about doing what you say you will do on time and with care. That includes explaining your role, responding promptly, following through, and completing your work. Being professional is extremely important for case managers. Participants and their caregivers rely upon you to help them with things that really matter to them, like their health, finances, and other services. By demonstrating professionalism, you show yourself to be a trustworthy and reliable individual who can help them with the things they need most. So what does reliability look like in practice? Matthew's mom, Bernadine, has a lot of questions about Matthew's move to his own place and seeks a lot of support from Cecilia. Cecilia provides steady and reliable support, consistently responding to Bernadine's inquiries within 48 hours. Her timely communication and thoughtful guidance help ease her concerns and build her confidence in the process. Over time, Bernadine comes to trust Cecilia's recommendations and feels comfortable sharing challenges as they arise, knowing she has a responsive and committed partner in advocating for her son's success. Cecilia's reliable communication helped build trust with Matthew's mom, who came to rely on her guidance. This enabled Cecilia and Bernadine to work together to best support Matthew. The fourth core competency of case management is support and service facilitation. Case managers need to understand participants' support needs, educate participants and caregivers on available resources, and help connect participants and caregivers to the right services. They also need to monitor supports and services to ensure they are meeting the participants' needs. Support and service facilitation is a critical function of the case manager's job. Being good at it doesn't mean you can get every person exactly what they want. Sometimes they may not be eligible for a service they want, or there may not be a service available to them in their local community. However, you can educate them about their options, explain how to access services, and help them to problem solve challenges to access as they arise. You can also help them research and identify alternatives if needed. Support and service facilitation skills mean you assess needs and help participants address those needs based on available options. Let's think about how this looks in real life. When Matthew told Cecilia that he wanted to find a job to help pay for life in his new apartment, Cecilia took his goals seriously and responded with care. She researched local organizations that offer supported employment services and identified resources that aligned with Matthew's needs and interests. Cecilia referred Matthew to vocational rehabilitation services, where Matthew received tailored support in preparing for and securing employment. With the right guidance and encouragement, Matthew successfully landed a job. Cecilia helped Matthew explore job options, linking him to vocational supports that helped him find meaningful work. Cecilia learned about the supports and services available to Matthew and linked him to something that could help address his needs. The fifth core competency of case management is support team coordination. Case managers take time to identify who is on a participant's support team and to develop relationships with them. They help to coordinate the roles of the different support team members to make sure they're working effectively towards the participants' goals. Coordinating across providers is key, especially when participants need change. Strong teamwork, led by the case manager, helps ease transitions and reduces gaps in care. Let's see what kind of role Cecilia plays in Matthew's support team. Matthew's support needs are complex, and reaching his goal of living in his own apartment requires careful coordination across multiple service providers. As his case manager, Cecilia takes a proactive role in bringing everyone to the table. She maintains regular communication with each provider involved in Matthew's care and helps them understand how the move may impact Matthew's life. For Matthew's big move, Cecilia brought the whole team together, helping everyone stay aligned and responsive. She made sure everyone had the information they needed to support Matthew as he made his transition. We just reviewed the 5 core competencies of case managers. When expectations are clear, it's easier to prevent misunderstandings, set realistic goals, and build trust. This makes your job easier and your support to participants and caregivers more effective. The next step is figuring out how to make sure you're meeting those expectations, which is where feedback from participants and caregivers comes in. Remember, these core competencies are just one component of the Working with Case Managers Guide. The guide also includes surveys for participants and caregivers and worksheets to support feedback conversations. Now let's discuss the surveys and how they can become an important part of how you interact with your participants and their families. The survey is available in 2 formats, a fillable PDF and a digital version. The fillable PDF is part of the guide. It can be filled out on a computer or printed to complete on paper. The digital version is an online survey that can be filled out on your computer or mobile device. The results will be automatically calculated and can be printed. The information entered will be stored anonymously and combined with others' responses. We'll show you what the survey looks like later in this video. There are also two versions of the survey, one for caregivers and another for participants. The caregiver survey is for caregivers to fill out about the case manager. The questions ask about the caregiver's relationship with the case manager and how the case manager works with the participant. The participant survey is for people receiving case management services. This includes people getting help for a disability, medical condition, or other needs. It's designed for the person getting services to either fill out on their own or with the help of a caregiver. The caregiver survey is similar to the participant survey. Both surveys include 19 statements about what a case manager should do well, and both use the same answer choices. The participant survey has pictures and simpler sentences, which are intended to make it easier for people with disabilities to use. Let's move on to a participant-initiated feedback scenario on how to use the participant survey. Matthew wants to provide feedback to his case manager, but he isn't sure what to share. After reviewing the Working with Case Managers guide, where Matthew learned that case managers are effective communicators, Matthew wants to have a conversation with his case manager, Cecilia, about his expectations. While he can tell she tries to communicate well, there are some things that Matthew wishes she'd do differently. The participant survey can help him to identify his concerns and express them in a clear and constructive way. Let's take a look at Matthew's completed participant survey. While Matthew believes that Cecilia effectively communicates with him, at times he feels like Cecilia doesn't listen to him. Instead, she asks his mom for her opinion and feedback, and Matthew wishes she asked him first about his opinion on what his needs are. He also feels like Cecilia explains things to his mother and doesn't always take the time to explain things to him in ways that make sense to him. Filling out this survey helps Matthew to identify some things he can talk to Cecilia about. He notes the items where he marked "No, not really," and prepares to talk to Cecilia about asking him first for his opinion and taking the time to make sure he understands what she is saying too. If you're not sure how to respond to feedback like this, talk to your supervisor. They can help you think through and plan next steps. Feedback isn't about blame, it's about working better together. Let's talk about what it might look like to get feedback from participants using these surveys. Getting feedback is important for professional growth. You might hear something you did not expect, or even something that feels tough to hear. That's okay. The goal is to use the information to improve your connection with the participant and to do your job better. While it could be scary to get direct feedback from the people you work with, it can also help reduce misunderstandings and strengthen trust. It should provide input to guide your work and highlight the value you bring to your role. Having these feedback conversations is not only helpful to you, it is also helpful to the participants you serve. Welcoming feedback encourages participants and caregivers to share openly, think about what they need, and reflect on what's working. It supports self-advocacy and creates a more open and productive relationship. Some ways you can make feedback part of your regular practice is by sharing the guide with the families you work with, reviewing the competencies with participants and caregivers to start conversations on expectations, using the surveys as a tool for reflection and growth, and reflecting on feedback in supervision. Try asking participants simple questions like, "How has our work been going for you? Is there anything you would like for me to do differently?" These open-ended questions show that you care and invite honest responses. To ensure you're making the most of feedback conversations, you should listen without defensiveness and normalize feedback as part of any relationship. It's how everyone learns to work well together. When you get a piece of constructive feedback, Do not try to respond perfectly in the moment. Instead, thank them for the feedback, think about what they've shared, and talk with your supervisor about how to follow up. Sometimes even a small change, like adjusting how often you check in, can make a big difference. How can you make feedback part of your everyday work with participants? First, review the guide to familiarize yourself with the competencies. Then make receiving feedback a part of your everyday routine. Use surveys and check ins often. Next, use feedback well. Listen, reflect, and plan how to improve. Finally, get support. Get support from your supervisors and peers. Remember that being a case manager means you'll always be growing and improving, which ultimately makes you more effective and helpful to the people you serve and makes your job more rewarding. Want to learn more about this topic? You can find the guide and feedback surveys at fddc.org/resources/#guide. We want to know what you think about the competencies and tools. Please email us at the link below with any reactions and suggestions for how to improve the tools. Thank you for watching this video. We hope it has helped you understand the core competencies of case management and how to use the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council's feedback surveys to work more effectively with the participants you serve. Please take a moment to fill out the survey to let us know how helpful this video was. You can access this survey by scanning the QR code on your screen or visiting the SurveyMonkey link below. Thank you again for participating in using management feedback tools to support stronger relationships and improve outcomes.